Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the All Astrology family. My name is G, and I invite you to come in, to relax, take a seat. Let me pour you a cup of coffee or a hot cup of tea. Let me get you a beverage. Let me help you to be comfortable and relaxed. Let me help you to feel welcomed. I'm here to simply share that which comes through me, the knowledge of the universe. That which flows through me is yours. And I am honored for your ears. Give it a chance to sit within not only your mind, but within your heart. So as you take your seat, get comfortable. Here, nobody can possibly get the ugly bug or the virus. We can be comfortable. We can be sitting around the fire that we have here, burning over there on the other side of the room in the fireplace. It's crackling, some great cherry and oak wood. The cats are about a few feet in front of the fireplace on the floor. Each has their own spot on the rug. And the glow of the fireplace is dancing across the wood floor that lays in front of it. There's a lot of chairs and comfortable sofas and rocking chairs, love seats. Come in and just relax. Know that you're in a safe space. And be open. Be open to the knowledge, the wisdom. Be open to that which is yours. In the center of the room, there's a couple of different tables, multiple tables in the room, and each little table has different beverages on it. And each beverage has a marking, has a symbol on the glass or the cup, depends upon what you're drawn to and what you want to pick up and taste. None of them are bad for you. None of them are considered better than another, but each will give you an experience. They're not toxic. They are not lethal. They will create a sort of event in your life. And each of the events that they create allow you to change the way that you think. Each glass holds the experience, the power to let you experience life. And each of us, at one time or another, in some way, we each take a sip from each of these glasses or cups, mugs. When we look at the chart, that's what each of these planets represent. Each little symbol represents an experience. So there's all these symbols that have meanings, they have names, and they have experiences, traits. They have qualities, they have characteristics. Each of these are a planetary body, a celestial body, and they have personalities. Because when we sit down here with astrology and talk about these things, it is our way of sampling, intellectually sampling what they provide, what experience, what trait, what quality, what characteristic, inclinations, impressions that these planetary bodies put us under. Saturn and Jupiter. Jupiter is the number 4 in green here, the fancy number 4, and Saturn is that fancy H with that cross at the top. Well, they're actually these two nubs right here, right? And so they're conjunct. They're on top of each other. They're empowering each other. They're fueling each other. Saturn sets up rules, borders, and boundaries because it's trying to create order. It's trying to create order. And so when Jupiter gets close to Saturn, it adds to wanting to create order. But we can't ignore that Jupiter represents our belief systems. It represents wisdom. So what you have is someone who's in authority who feels as though they are very wise, right? And they know what is best, right? It's like that ultimate father figure. Some people would say, wow, that sounds a lot like divine spirit, right? God, Father, Creator, Allah. And having conversations with people, whether you're at work or, whether you're at the job or it's a neighbor or it's just somebody in your life that you know who in some way may feel like a parent to you or a sibling to you or somebody that you admire or look up to. This could be anybody. This could be somebody at church. It could be the preacher at church. It could be your pastor. Driving and a police officer approaches your car. He's the authority figure at that moment. So when we say authority figures, Taffy has just joined us, by the way. She's just jumped up here. When we have authority figures in our lives, they wear different hats, okay? And so for many people, this can be just your mom and dad in your life, okay? It can also, of course, be teachers. This is the chart for the United States of America. The United States of America has a Sagittarius ascendant. Sagittarius ascendant. Now, we talked about Jupiter, right? But some of the things we didn't talk about as far as Sagittarius ascendant, beliefs, right? Higher knowledge, wisdom. Freedom is a very big key word for Jupiter. Freedom. Saturn and Jupiter are conjunct, and they're entering in the sign of Aquarius. Well, the sign of Aquarius is all about being the individual, being recognized as the individual, being able to operate in group energy without my individuality being erased or being squashed or being covered up. And Jupiter represents freedom. Saturn represents I'm going to set rules, borders, and boundaries. So this is what is coming. We're going to talk about the eclipse that occurs. If you're new here, this is all astrology, and we try to talk about the energies, the planetary aspects, where the planets are up in the sky, and how their emanations, how their radiations affect us in our day-to-day life. So here we go. December 14th is the eclipse, and there's already a video out about that. I will include the video below to make sure that if you haven't watched it, you please go watch that, or if you want a refresher, go watch it again after you have watched this video. We have an eclipse at 23 degrees of Sagittarius, December 14th of 2020. Now, the United States has Sagittarius on their ascendant. And if we look at 23 degrees Sagittarius, what do we see in the United States natal chart? Yes, everything in black on the inside. These are all the locations of the planetary celestial bodies of when the United States, when the country was born on the July 4th, 1776 at 5:10 p.m. Some people disagree, some people don't, but so far and for the events that have happened in 2020, I think this chart is pretty darn accurate until I'm proven otherwise. I treat astrology as an experiment. And that's what we're being asked to do for the next 12 months because we are with the North Node in Gemini energy. Gemini is definitely all about being and staying flexible in our thoughts, being flexible in the way that we communicate, being flexible about learning new ways of communicating. Remember, this is social media. This is the digital world, folks. You know, talking with your hands, get comfortable with it. Get comfortable with it. If you haven't, you have another year to get comfortable with it. But what do we have? 23 degrees is where the galactic center for the United States was on its day of inception, on the day that it was born, and that is where the eclipse occurs. Eclipses are changes. And when an eclipse is exact, that means it's a very big change. A very big change. Now, let's break the eclipse down. Do see that this is going to be a new moon eclipse because we're going to have the sun and the moon together, which means it's a time of wishing. It's a time of thinking about your future because that is the sign of Sagittarius. Thinking ahead, my future. That is Sagittarian energy as well. Yes, if you're keeping track and if you're taking notes, you're hearing a lot of nuggets of knowledge, dropping gems, lots of keywords here for the sign of Sagittarian. This is why the study of astrology is so extensive, because as we evolve and change, we also see that the meanings change. I know. Astrology is a living and breathing thing. It is not stagnant. The sun and the moon are together at 23 degrees. That is where the eclipse happens. So eclipses mean change. So let's dive deep into finding out what kind of a change that's going to be for the United States. That video, you go below after this, it'll dive super deep for you. And I'm not going to spend time doing that here, but we are going to talk about, this is in the United States first house. What is the first house in someone's chart? The first house represents me, I. So this represents the country. And this represents your appearance. Remember, I'm always saying the first house, the ascendant, is the cover of the book. It's when somebody looks at you and they immediately start getting these ideas. They start saying, that person looks like they are this, or that person looks like they are that, or that person, whatever that is, whatever images, whatever sensations, whatever thoughts and ideas pop in your mind when you first take a glance at something. I like to give the example of picking up a book and looking at the cover, or a movie. Right back in the day when you used to go and rent movies at the video store, you'd pick it up, right? All the good ones are gone, so you go and you pick up the next whatever attractive thing, and you're like, and you start reading the cover of it, like as if that really is going to tell you anything about the movie. But at this point, your video's already gone. So you're thinking, well, all I have left to go on is the appearance. And so when you haven't talked to somebody, you can only see them with your eyes. That's all you have to go on is their appearance, right? And so the appearance of the country will be changing. It will be changing. And this change affects our future, right? And the beliefs. Our beliefs will also be changing. Our beliefs about our country will be changing because it's Sagittarian energy. If you live in the United States, what do you believe about the country that you live in? What do you believe about the freedoms of this country? That's a big deal, freedom. It's also legalities, the courtroom, the legal system. That is also Sagittarius energy. And there is also a whole bunch of other things in the belief systems of this country. And this eclipse is signifying that major change, and it's very powerful because it's right on the galactic center. Now, I'm going to share what I have been taught or what I have learned through my research thus far. The galactic center is considered the point of source for the galaxy that we live in. Creator created the galactic center. Creator is the galactic center. Creator, this point of source, this point of creation for the galaxy that we live in, what does that mean anyway? That means that this point right here is considered the point, the source that created all the celestial bodies that I'm talking about, the planets that created the world that you live in. So a change is coming to the appearance to the United States, okay? This is the South Node, so we are releasing a belief. We are releasing a belief because this is an eclipse that is happening conjunct the South Node. The South Node is we are releasing a belief about our appearance. We are releasing a belief that we held. And the new belief, especially pertaining to the chart of the United States, look at this, the North Node, where we're headed, about our body, right? Again, Mars is about the body. First house, Mars actually rules the first house. Yes, I know it's confusing, but it's about the appearance, okay? But it has so much to do with this pandemic, folks, okay? Mars at 21 degrees natally. Mars is this circle with this arrow. The North Node's right on top of it. Actually, the North Node's at 20 degrees here. Mars is at 21. But you see 22 degrees, 22, 25 Neptune? That squares Mars, okay? Neptune has the power to dissolve the physical body. Neptune is this 5D ethereal energy, and it's in the sign of Virgo. So it makes it very complicated because Virgo is our health, the health of our body, okay? And Virgo is about alternative modalities when it comes to healing, has a lot to do with food, has a whole lot to do with food in the body, and digestion in particular. That is the sign of Virgo. And when Neptune's around, it makes it very hard to diagnose something. Neptune can represent drugs as well. Neptune is known to be the sign of the pandemic, and it's squaring Mars. And that's all the time in the United States chart. But when this pandemic began, over here, down here, the transiting Neptune, meaning the current Neptune up in the sky, started squaring this Mars. Well, when it started squaring this Mars, it was also opposing this Neptune. And so that's your T-square. Neptune, Neptune, Mars. And then the nodes got involved. And that's when it got really serious. When the North Node started getting closer to the Mars, because now the North and the South Node got involved. We got the North and the South Node right here, and Neptune up here, and Neptune up here at 20 degrees. So that's a great cross, that would be called. It's a great cross right on top of a T-square. Very difficult stuff. And Mars being in Gemini, Gemini represents the lungs and the body. That's Mercury, right? And where do you see Mercury in the United States chart? Mercury's up here at 24 degrees. It's the one that I referred to as the little alien before. But Mercury is this, little circle with the antennas and the little body. And it's, again, that's the ruler of Gemini. It's how we talk, think, relate, and communicate. It's also your lungs and your ability to speak, your oxygen and your air. And it's in the sign of Cancer, okay? Sign of Cancer is water. So the United States, meaning their Gemini energy, their lungs are prone to already have water in them. You see, sometimes it's just very literal. When we can see the events that have occurred, we kind of look at it and we think, wow, this is so literal. There was like nothing to dig for, right? Yeah, Mercury in water in the United States chart. It's also emotions. Water is emotions. Neptune is water, folks. So you see, water, another emphasis of water, right? Water, that's pneumonia, respiratory issues, respiratory difficulties. This is all going to pass. This is all going to pass. Okay, this is going to change. These nodes are going to keep moving. They're going to keep going backwards. Okay, and it's going to change. And as soon as this gets 2 degrees away from here, there's going to be a big difference. And we know that that difference is coming because we know that Saturn, over here, Saturn and Jupiter are making their way. They're leaving the United States Capricorn energy. And you see that Pluto at 27 degrees. Pluto is a pretty serious planet. It makes changes at a deeply emotional, transformational. It's like pipes under the house. It's the foundation. It's under the foundation, right? That's Pluto. It's buried deep. It's on a soulful level. It's a cellular level, cellular solutions. Saturn was sitting here. Jupiter was sitting here, okay? But now they're leaving and they're going into the sign of Aquarius. Folks, do you know that the age of Aquarius is called, it's referred to as the time when man is ready for the knowledge. Man is ready for the wisdom. Man is ready to hear it. And this is all astrology's role in that. At least I hope it is. To bring this knowledge. This is the Aquarian. Okay, this is the sign of Aquarius. This rules astrology, by the way. This also rules scientists, right? Astronomy, any sciences, right? This is, the inventor, Nikola Tesla, Aquarius energy. And this is the vaccine energy, okay? And Saturn and Jupiter together going into the sign of Aquarius means we are coming upon a time where science is being brought in, where science is being asked to provide its solutions. And I understand science is not perfect, right? They're always testing, always experimenting. So this is important to remember. But the beautiful thing is, look at this. You see how this is in orange? So any other sign in the chart that it matches the color, the same orange color or yellow on your end, however that looks, that means it's a trine, okay? So eventually Jupiter and Saturn transiting through Aquarius will be trining that Mars, will be trining the Gemini energy, will be trining the nodes, will be trining the United States Uranus, which represents shocks and surprises, but also represents the same thing Aquarius energy represents. It represents science, advancements for humanity, inventions that were created that helped humanity advance. The internet, big time, right? The automobile, aviation, taking to the air, right? Definitely aviation. This is an air sign. So we see that with Saturn and Jupiter going through this placement, going through the second house of the United States will then have a value, will be placing value on people. This is an energy where it's a complete change around. Before we had top-down energy. Capricorn was the ruler. It was the value, right? Second house is what I value. The country valued money, tangible resources. And look what's happening. It's changing. It's moving to the people energy. And this is groups. This is also group energy, humanity. The good for humanity, because Jupiter is going to be spending a nice full year in this sign. And when Jupiter's in Aquarius, it does wonderful. It does beautiful. And it will be trining Gemini, which is our lungs. It'll also be trining these relationships, relationship energy. This is Libra, so this is also the law, things being fair and balanced. And this is the groups, the people, humanity. And this is our communications and the way we talk to each other, the way we relate to our neighbors, our digital neighbors too. This is all going to change for the better. And it's a big change for the better because look, the United States has their natal Saturn in an air sign. Okay? So this is a trine. This is a cardinal air sign. This is in relationships and the law and justice. This is the scales, the balance, things being fair. Trines the people and relationships. Eventually, Saturn will get to 14 degrees and it will trine that. And this is lovely. Lovely, but it's going to take a while before Saturn gets there, okay? Jupiter, on the other hand, will be transiting through here. And so what we see is Saturn and Jupiter are restoring order for the people, right? Restoring order using science, bringing knowledge. This is air, so this is knowledge. This is light. And it's no coincidence that this is December 14th, and on the 20th is the solstice, right? 6 days later, we have the solstice, the winter solstice. Here, the winter solstice represents light, an increase in light, an increase in knowledge. So Jupiter is going to be transiting through here faster than Saturn. Jupiter will only take 12 months to get through the sign of Aquarius. Saturn will take 2.5 years to get through the sign of Aquarius. So we're going to have some things occurring, are going to feel uncomfortable. Okay, some things are going to occur that are going to feel uncomfortable. But before I get to the uncomfortable stuff, I also want to mention that when we have that solstice energy, it's going to be a great revealing. You're going to feel it in your head, depending upon your level of sensitivity. The earth changing its harmonics, resonating at a different frequency. And this began on the 9th, and it culminates on the 20th, on the day of the solstice. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to change the chart around, and I'm going to change the date to this 20th. It's relevant to the planet Mars. It's relevant because Mars moves. And I know I didn't talk about Mars very much, but when we get to the 20th, Mars has moved. When we were on the 14th, Mars was conjunct Chiron, okay? And when Mars is conjunct Chiron at 20 degrees, it's, Chiron is the wound of the nation, the wound of the country about their appearance, because that's Aryan energy, okay? And that's what the George Floyd event, that's what that was right here, okay? This was emotional wounds over our appearance, okay? A lot of folks had no idea that racism existed to the degree that it existed in our country still. Social injustices, the cultural injustices, the racial injustices that exist in the United States, to explain what these wounds could possibly have to do when it comes to appearance in our country. And well, if you're a female in the United States, and maybe other places in the world, when it comes to marketing and commercials in Hollywood, we've been kind of brainwashed to believe that, yeah, if you're a female, you should have blonde hair, blue eyes, and, you should weigh a certain amount of weight and be certain measurements, and that's perfection, and that's what you're striving to be. And if you're not that, then you're somehow less. Well, so we have this big issue about our appearance, okay? And so it's not just race, right? We have a lot of issues about our appearance, and this is proof right here. Chiron, our deepest emotional wound in Aries in the 4th house. So this is at home, emotional wounds about our bodies, okay? And about our appearance. So Mars, when it was on the 14th, Mars was right there, okay? The day of the eclipse, which would have been trining that eclipse, so you know. Trining the south node, so you know, right? And that's a great thing, because letting go of a belief, right? And that ties in also to our appearances and our body, and yes, our belief about our appearance as a country, as a nation. But now Mars has moved. And so I'm going to do this. I wish I had done that earlier. But Mars is now conjunct Eris. And Eris is a female version of Mars. Eris is a female warrior. She doesn't want to back down. She doesn't want to be told to be quiet any longer. She's fed up. She's done, and she will fight. And so this is prominent because we've seen many females taking charge, many females stepping forward, speaking up. We've seen outspoken females, and we've seen a change where it's okay for a female to speak up, right? It's okay to be a strong female, because There's some misconception. There's some ideas that the only person that can speak assertively is this male energy, and that's just not right. It's not. It's whacked, is what it is. Females can show power and be assertive and get things done just as well, if not better. Okay, so what we're coming upon a time is a change. But why am I pulling this up? Because 24 degrees of Mars and Eris together makes them pretty formidable. They become partners at this point. Okay, they become warriors together on the same team. And look what they're doing. They're 90 degrees away from Pluto. The transiting Pluto. See it at 24 degrees? The transiting Pluto's in green. Green planets mean they're the planets up in the sky. The black planets are the natal planets. So we're looking at the transiting Pluto is squaring off with Mars and Eris together. So this is boss energy, okay? This is boss energy, powerful boss energy, by the way. So this is like government, okay? Squaring, sending stress and testing to our bodies, what we can do with our body, what we can't. So wherever you live, wherever you are in the world, this is the case, by the way. Pluto squaring Mars, wherever you live in, wherever you're at. But for the United States, this is values, because it's the second house, what I value. Squaring our bodies, squaring our home. This is mother energy, a nurturing, squaring the nurturing, squaring literally our home, literally. This is your emotional world as well, the emotions of the country, okay? Keep that in mind. So I'm just pointing that out because there's such big energies on the 20th. There's such big energies coming through because it's the solstice. It's when we have light coming through. It's when Jupiter and Saturn are at 0 degrees together, hand in hand, and they're in Aquarius. And if I said that these, which I already said, establish order, so rules, regulations, does that possibly mean a lockdown? It could very possibly be a lockdown. I'm still saying I'm not sure what that looks like, but it sure does look like when you see Pluto squaring Mars and Eris and you see Saturn and Jupiter together all on that day. It's a very good possibility. There might be just tighter rules and regulations at the time. I do see likely there might be a mandatory lockdown coming in January, because I don't think anyone's going to do this before Christmas. I'm just going to be honest, because capitalism rules. And I have the astrology that supports it. But I also have the astrology to support that is changing, and that will change. It is a change where it will be people before power. It will be people before politics. The age of Aquarius is coming. In 2023, this planet, Pluto, will enter here. And trust me, folks, when Pluto enters, the age of Aquarius has begun. The age of Aquarius will officially be here in 2023. We're going to move to mid-January. I'm going to go right to the 13th of January. Mars is moving, okay? Mars is literally going to be changing. Mars is going to be moving and going into the sign of Taurus. Actually, like on the 5th of January, Mars moves into the sign of Taurus. There we go. There's Mars. So by the 13th of January, Mars is already at 3 degrees, okay? Now, what you see is going to, the next few days, when we get to the 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, Mars is going to be on top of Uranus, okay? And that's powerful. It's powerful. Because at the same time, they'll be squaring Jupiter over here, all right? When we look at to where Jupiter is actually at 534 already here, okay? And Uranus is at 7 degrees, folks, okay? So Jupiter is aspecting Uranus at that point. All right, they're already squaring. So Jupiter squaring Uranus, Jupiter squaring Mars, okay? Jupiter squaring Mars can be beneficial action. It does make you want to do things without thinking first. The action is only beneficial if you make sure that you think it through before you act. When Mars gets on top of Uranus, it makes Mars very impatient. It's as if everybody around you is moving too slow. That's the kind of energy it gives. It can also be, it can make your Mars like what I want to do. It can make you very stubborn because it's now in Taurus. Mars is leaving You know, it's out of Aries, which made it very fast, very impulsive. But when it gets back to the Aquarian energy, Aquarius is about, I want freedom. I don't want to do what you want to do, right? I want to kind of, you know, Mars touches on Aquarius and it becomes this, well, I'm going to do this and I don't care if I have to do it alone. I'm willing to go it alone. That's what happens when Mars touches Aquarius, okay? So you're going to want to find out where this happens. Like you want to know where's the Taurus energy in your chart. Now, I have rising sign videos out. If you haven't gotten yours yet, just keep your ears and your eyes peeled. Make sure that your bell is turned on because it is coming. They're all done. They're just in the process of being edited, and I apologize for the amount of time it's taking me to edit. But I am going to give you some information. Every rising sign, I'm going to tell you what areas of your life. I'm going to tell you 3 areas of your life that are going to become easier for the next 12 months of your life and possibly longer. So if you don't know your rising sign, you want to make sure that you comment to me so that you can find out what your rising sign is so that you can then come back to this video and hear. This is a prediction for the next 12 months of 2021, and who the heck doesn't want that? I'm going to tell you what I have down here. The high alert dates are from the 13th of January to the 17th. But folks, let's be real. For the entire month of January, there is going to be we're going to be asked to be very flexible. We are being tested because we have a lot of planets, as you see here. Aquarius energy is fixed air. I have a very fixed way of thinking, okay? I have a thought and I'm not going to get off of that thought. I'm stuck on it. This is what I think. You can't change my mind. Before a scientist comes to a conclusion, you know, they first have to have that theory, then they have to perform the experiments, and then they have to go through observation and take notes, and then they come to a conclusion. But there's something that if anybody's taken science classes, one of the very first laws that you are taught is there are some things that just can't be explained. And that is what they teach you. So, yeah, just keep the mindset of experiment and be flexible in the way you think and communicate. But see all the planets, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Yeah, that's Pallas Athena there. I don't want to make this any longer than I have to, but we have Mercury, we have Jupiter, we have Saturn, right? And so what happens is, you know, information and communication, things moving very fast or trying to move very fast because Mercury's here. But folks, we're going to have a Mercury retrograde at the end of January. Okay, before I forget that part, I have it written down here. We have a Mercury retrograde beginning at the end of January. I'll do a separate video on that. It begins January 30th. The heads up here, the nugget you're going to walk away with is that it's in a retrograde. It's in its shadow zone all the way until March 13th, meaning any information, if you have to make a decision about something that's important, have multiple professional eyes look over these things before you sign a document or dot an I or cross a T, because it's a really good possibility some details are being overlooked or have to be rethought through, or a piece of paper got covered up or fell between the cracks somewhere. Mercury, however, in Aquarian energy is genius energy. This is Einstein energy. So this is really great for the vaccine. It's really good for it. But because we're going to have a Mercury retrograde, that means that we're going to have likely transportation issues with the vaccine, because that's what Mercury is, transportation. It's also information and communication, okay? So we're going to be hearing different things. It's like, wait a minute, they said they had it. Wait a minute, they said they had this amount. Wait a minute, they said they had this figured out. So folks, remember, this is an experiment. We've never done this before. This is our first time dealing with this, okay? And so science is learning. This is an experiment for the scientists as well. Remember, they had to rush this through, but look in the United States chart. Uranus trines at 9 degrees. At 9 degrees, this is lovely. So when Jupiter gets to 9 degrees, oh my gosh, this is wonderful news. It's in the information and communication. It's almost 7th house of partnerships, but it's work. This is wonderful news coming through. So yes, we may hear information after the 20th about a lockdown, or more rigid rules, even though there's a vaccine being distributed. We may hear all of that, but we definitely are going to be hearing more conversations about a relief coming, the stimulus package, because it's good news and it's Jupiter. Jupiter is benevolent, folks, benevolent. Jupiter is going to come through. Yes, it'll be squaring Mars. Yes, it'll be squaring Uranus. And Uranus, again, is science, folks. Remember, Uranus is science. So as it's being tested the whole time, okay, it's going to be tested. So we just have to be flexible, right? We just have to remember what's the best for our future. It is the North Node. This is where we're headed. It's asking us to be not so rigid or stiff in the way that we communicate and who we communicate with. Okay, to be a little bit more patient, a little bit more understanding, to realize that we are still experimenting and will be for the next full 12 months. So now let me get into these quick rising sign speed messages for you. We're beginning with Pisces. Pisces ascendant, Pisces rising. The areas of your life, I'll tell you this, it will be house number 12, house number 8, and house number 4. 12, 8, and 4. Your 12th house will be most prominent. This is your dreams. This is individuals from past lifetimes. This is from people you knew a long time ago. You're going to see some angelic wings coming in. This could be information coming through in your dreams. This could be benevolent help, angel wings coming through. Somebody, a benefactor, somebody coming through that you did not know. You are somehow getting angelic assistance. It is your 12th house. Remember, pay attention to your dreams. Write down information. You are getting assistance. You are getting help. You are getting beauty. You are getting abundance. You are getting optimism. Again, this could be more extreme or less extreme depending upon your personal chart. But this is your 12th house of dreams. That is where the best and the biggest things are coming through, but is making and setting up ease to your 8th and your 4th house, which means your bonded, intimate, one-on-one relationships, but deeply bonded relationships. This could be blood bonded. This could be physical intimacy bonded. This could be people that you've known for a long time, people from past lifetimes, soul contracts. You are also going to have ease added to your home, in your home, how you live at home. You're going to have like mothering issues, nurturing issues, all these things, emotions and nurturing. This is going to add ease in your life. This is an area of your life where you can be rest assured there is going to be some sense of optimism and communication, lines of communication opening up, and just a more beautiful way of being, the opposite of what you experienced in 2020. Now for Aquarius Ascendant, Aquarius rising, you have house number 9, house number 5, house number 1. Receiving ease in your life. Number 1 is your ascendant, and this is where you have the transiting Jupiter and Saturn. So this is all about your appearance in your life. You are going to change in some way. The way people look at you is going to change. Somehow people are going to see the individual that you truly are. They're going to see you in a more unique way. They're going to see you as this innovative and unique individual. They're going to see you as somebody who somehow, suddenly, something is different about you. You may even appear more intellectual to them. You may even start talking about astrology. This is the sign of the astrologer. It's also the sign of the scientist. It is also the sign of the inventor. This is that Nikola Tesla sign. And it's adding ease to your 5th house of children and fun and romance and creations. Are you writing? Are you blogging? Are you vlogging? This is the 5th house. Anything that you created, there is ease coming. Jupiter and Saturn are sending ease. Remember, this is romance also. This is children. These are your physical creations. This is also the location of how I take a risk with my body. It's also the location of how you take a risk with your romance and children. So keep that in mind. This is also the location, same location when people go gambling and betting. And your 9th house is also going to be receiving ease, and the 9th house ease is coming through by ways of your belief systems. What you believe. It's your higher learning, higher education. Are you going back to school? Are you going to be receiving a teacher in some way, a sage that comes into your life? The 9th house is your ability to travel long distances, long journeys. It's communications, but speaking in a different tongue. Maybe you're going to be learning a different language. It's the 9th house. This is the house of God. This is relating and talking to God, talking to the divine celestial beings, not the ones in the astral plane, but on the higher plane, talking to the universe and the cosmos coming through. The 9th house is all about religion and spirituality. The 9th house, this is about producing works, great works, and coming and publishing something. So I love this for you because this is your 1st house, your 5th house of creativity, and your 9th house and ease coming. And if it's publishing, I would love to hear if you've got something that you're trying to publish. Capricorn Ascendant, Capricorn Rising, your houses of ease that are coming for the entire year of 2021 are your 10th house, your 6th house, and your 2nd house. Your 10th house is your career. Finally, Capricorn, what you have been waiting for so long. You have been longing for your ambitions, your professional goals and hopes to finally be receiving an ease. Your 6th house of work is also going to be receiving ease. Your 6th house of your day-to-day work routines and your health routines, your hygiene routines, and your health habits. Your 6th house of domestic pets and animals is all going to be getting a super beautiful ease from your 2nd house where the trine is coming from. And this is Jupiter and Saturn in your 2nd house of income and money and tangible resources, and seeing yourself as being suddenly worthy in a way that you did not see yourself being worthy before. And this is beautiful because this is your tangible resources. This is the possibility of new avenue of income, new multiple streams of income coming in, depending upon your personal birth chart. Again, if you want to work with me, comment down below. We can dive deeper into your chart. But your house number 6, number 10, and number 2, income and values, being trined and blessed by Jupiter for the year of 2021. Sign of Sagittarius, the houses that are being blessed for you. You have an ease coming in your house number 11, number 7, and number 3. House number 11 is your groups. It is your social circles. It is your internet energy. It is when you are online, when you're in any social platforms. This is astrology. This is you and how you operate whenever you get together with individuals who are part of your tribe, like they're like-minded, and they have the same aspirations for group energy. That is your 11th house. And then your 7th house. This is beautiful. This is significant one-on-one relationships. This is marriage. Marriage is the 7th house. The 7th house is one-on-one partnerships, which can also be business partnerships. There's an ease coming, right? This is a way of, hey, do you do counseling for people? Are you a life coach? Are you a workout coach? This is that 7th house energy, ease being added, and all of a sudden things falling into place. Significant one-on-one relationships, a balance setting in. Now, 3rd house is your house of being blessed. It is your thinking, talking, relating, communicating. This is the house of the salesman. This is social media. This is the telemarketer. This is digital networking. This is talking with the hands. This is the communicator. This is motivational speaking. This is your 3rd house being lit up by Jupiter like a Christmas tree, and Saturn coming in, establishing order. This is you receiving the abundance and the beauty of having Jupiter in your 3rd house. So this is neighbors. This is relating to individuals in a one-on-one way where you can trade and barter. This is a light up of your skill sets, learning new skills. This is you saying, hey, I have skills. You have skills. Can we trade? This is networking. This is coworkers. This is the house of the teacher. This is selling an idea or selling yourself. 3rd house. This is a beautiful placement for Sagittarius Ascendant, Sagittarius Risings. The year of 2021. I love this for you, Sag, and I'm happy for you. Scorpio, Ascendant Scorpio Rising, we have houses of ease coming up for you are the spiritual houses, Scorpio. This is going to make you happy. This is the water houses, which is what you are, Scorpio. House number 12, house number 8, house number 4. 12th house is your spiritual house. This is the house of your other lifetimes. This is Christ consciousness placement. The 12th house is past lives, but support coming through in the angelic ways. This is listening to the divine words, listening to the ethereal, listening to the sounds of the spheres, getting information from that which you know not, just knowing stuff and not even understanding how you know it. Then it's your 8th house, receiving information from those dead loved ones who are on the other side. This can also include spirit guides. The 8th house is also deeply bonded relationships, ease coming in your deeply bonded relationship. This is past lifetimes. This is creating new bonds in this lifetime with souls. This is definitely the soul, the house of bonding by the soul on the cellular level. But for Scorpio energy, the soul is really popping out here, S-O-U-L, because for Scorpios, that 8th house, this is the house that you rule actually. This is a plutonium placement, which is making deep transformations through my soulful connections. And the house that's going to be receiving the greatest is house number 4, at home. So I'm very, very relieved because I have a lot of Scorpios in my life who have had some of the most difficult, trying years prior to 2020. And I have been praying diligently for them. And I'm loving that Jupiter and Saturn are going to be in their 4th house and setting order and establishing something that is a benefit, a beauty, some optimism, some light for them in their home and their emotions, making their emotions more stable. By Saturn coming in, it will help stabilize that. This is that mother energy. So Scorpio, Ascendant Scorpio rising, this is going to be a great year because you have so many beautiful blessings with this kind of energy happening in the houses of water. Your energy, the houses that you rule, Scorpio, you are the psychic. You know things and you just do. And it is the year of discernment. It is the year of understanding what is mine, what is divine, what is mine to share, and how do I know the difference between what I'm supposed to I know it, but that doesn't mean I have to share it or that I'm supposed to share it. Whereas those things that you know and that you're supposed to share. So I see big order. I see big ease coming by helping you tweak that, helping you tweak your ability to connect and receive messages. Now for Libra, Ascendant Libra rising, we have the houses number 9, 5, and 1. House number 9, Libra, this is the house of teaching. This is the house of, are you the teacher? Are you going to meet a teacher? This is a spiritual house. This is the house of religion. This is the house of traveling long distances, going on a journey with an airplane, foreigners, learning a language. It's this, am I going back to school? Or am I teaching higher education? Are you going to be a student of higher education? Are you going to be the sage? But it's incorporating spirituality within that work frame. It's incorporating spirituality within your belief system, because belief and truth and freedom is all part of this. Belief, truth, and freedom, all a big part of this, and your future. Realizing a new future for yourself and what you can do for your future for work, and having different understanding of what it is because you have this new skill set that you've learned and that you will still be tweaking in 2021. Now, house number 5 is your romance, is your children, is your creativity. Your creativity. It's how you take a risk with your body. It's how you have a good time, how you have fun. The 5th house is how you have your joy and your laughter in your life. And then when you're doing art, that's where you are. You have it. Saturn is going to be there, and Saturn is coming in with Jupiter. So this is establishing order. This is bringing beauty in your life, setting up some beautiful, sweet trines, Saturn and Jupiter, to your ascendant, your 1st house. Your 1st house is all about you. It's about my body. It's about me. It's about myself. So your opinions and your beliefs and the way you think about yourself is going to change. There's going to be a change in the conversations you have about yourself with yourself. Conversations you have with yourself about yourself. Conversations that when you change those inner working conversations, when you change those silent sounds that you have, you're going to then change the way you relate to those in the greater world. And so your house number 9, 5, and 1, Libra, Ascendant, Libra, rising, there is going to be this beautiful thing that occurs, because this is a beautiful trine to your Libran energy. And so I see this as being a wonderful year of creating order, where it's not so wishy-washy, where it's not, I'm on the fence and I'm not sure what to do. I see Saturn coming in strongly to your Libran ascendant and laying down a clear path using Jupiter's light. It's like there's that runway and you want to land the plane. You're like, it's nighttime. I don't even see the lights on the dang runway. All of a sudden, Jupiter's coming and lighting up the runway lights. And so you see a path now where you didn't see one before. So I love this for you, Libra Ascendant, Libra rising. Virgo Ascendant, Virgo rising. Here we go, Virgo. This is a big one. This is a big one. Everybody wants to hear this for them. The 10th house, the 6th house, and the 2nd house. House number 10, house number 6, and house number 2. 10th house is your ambitions, your goals, your career, your highest ambitions, your highest goals. This is your responsibilities in the world. So anytime I say 10th house, that's responsibilities. Your worldly ambitions. You've got this a beautiful, sweet trine energy with your 6th house of job, of your daily work and project routines, and your health. And then this is also with your 2nd house as well, your income, your values, valuing yourself, right? So your 6th house is wonderful because this is also your health and your health routines. You have Saturn and Jupiter there. So for the first year, this could be pretty beautiful. Jupiter's coming in with Saturn. We are going to lay down new rules. We are going to establish order. That when Saturn and Jupiter, when they lay the foundation work, when they work together, which is what they're going to be doing here, what they build lasts forever. What they build lasts forever. The cycle that Saturn and Jupiter are starting on the solstice, they are beginning a new 200-year cycle. A new 200-year cycle. But what can be rest assured is this cycle that Saturn and Jupiter are setting up together in the house of health for you, health habits, health routines, work habits. 6th house is pets. 6th house is your day-to-day routines. It's establishing a new order for you. And this is good news. This is good news for your future. This is good news for your longevity. Now we go into the sign of Leo. Leo, the houses that are lit up for you are your 11th, your 7th, and your 3rd. Your 11th house is your group energy. That's your social circles. That's your friends. Okay, so there's ease coming. Your 7th house. This is significant one-on-one relationships. This can be marriage partnerships. This can be business partnerships. And your 3rd house, house number 3, is your communication and your thinking. This is your neighbors. This is your siblings. The 7th house is the house of the highlight because that's where Jupiter and Saturn are. And then with your 7th house, what we have here is the 7th house is all about when it's got Saturn there and it's got Jupiter there, there can be a healing in relationships. There can be a new relationship coming in with somebody who was older than you. There can be a reorganization coming in where you have somebody who is an authority figure in your life who somehow endows some knowledge upon you. When Jupiter and Saturn are together, remember whatever changes happen in the first 2 weeks of January, okay, in your 7th house, Leo, you want to make sure that you're listening. Okay, you want to make sure that you're listening carefully. You want to make sure that you're being open and flexible. This will go a long way because these changes, and Leo, I know you don't like to hear about the changes, and I'm right there with you, Leo. I'm just as fixed as you are. I understand. But being open to these changes, these are changes that are going to be for your best, for your longevity. Okay, keep that in mind. So something that may not make sense right at that moment, you know, we don't always see the greater good down the line for ourselves, right? At first, it's sometimes uncomfortable. And so I just want you to keep that in mind and just know that communication and an ease of communication with friends and communications in general, there's going to be this new sense of order in being able to convey that which you are thinking. All right, there's a new sense of that. Okay, so now we move on to Cancer energy. Cancer, its houses numbers 12, 8, and 4. Okay, so it's the spiritual houses, 12, 8, and 4. House number 12, 8, and 4. 12th is your past life. It's also the dreams. Again, anytime I talk about the 12th house, remember you're thinking of dreams. It's touching in. This is Christ consciousness, getting messages from the other side. So pay attention to those beautiful dreams that you have. And sometimes this can include daydreams. And I say daydreams because I know Cancers are very creative, okay? Some of the things in their charts, they're very creative. And a lot of times they just see in visuals and this can be kind of daydreaming. So some of this stuff, it's in the spiritual houses, but you can be very creative with it, right? Run with it, okay? Now, are you creating with the information that comes through? A lot of times, knowing and understanding the difference between the two. Is it mine? Is it divine? Is this reality? Or is this something I should just put down and turn into a play or a piece of music, right? So paint it. Do whatever you got to do, but channel this beautiful information that comes through for you. And this also is your 8th house. The 8th house is the other side. It's connecting, it's the soul contracts. It's making new contacts with individuals that you didn't know before, but yet when you meet them, you're going to feel like you've known them your entire life. Yeah, it's that kind of energy. That's that 8th house energy. Even if they don't feel like you've known them your entire life, there will be things that you guys talk about where you just resonate. You just resonate on a deep level. There's an ease coming in deeply connected, bonded relationships, an ease. And then also in your 4th house. Your 4th house is that home, finally, right, Cancer Ascendant? Finally, some ease added at home. Thank you, right? Ease added at home. And this is all being based upon where Jupiter and Saturn are placed in your charts. Yes, there are 1,000 other things in your chart. So this doesn't mean it's going to be all sweet roses along the way for all of us listening. It just means that you can expect some ease and it's giving you some light to look forward to and it's some optimism. And for Cancer, you need some stability in the home. We all do. Our emotions. This is your emotional world when I say your home, not just your physical, but your emotional home. Having some ease and some order established and something that feels a little bit more consistent, right? And a little bit more stable. You really are, you want that emotional security. Emotional security is the fourth house. Big E's coming through and revelations and connections coming through in your eighth house. And I must say that in eighth house, when this happens, and remember, this is bonded relationships also by blood, having your eighth house is triggered here and Saturn being there. Some of you could possibly hear about inheritances in this location of your chart, to be honest with you, or somehow receiving money from somebody that you're related to in some way. To the next one, which is Gemini. That's Gemini, they're places of ease, finally, Gemini. It's going to be house number 9, number 5, and number 1. Okay, house number 9, 5, and 1. So for the air houses, number 9, 5, and 1. Gemini, that's your spirituality, your ninth house, your religion. Okay, this is my belief systems, my traveling long distances and journeys, my teaching and learning. Will there be a sage that comes through in your life? The ninth house, it's that higher learning, right? Are you going to be going and taking some educational courses? Are you going to be taking some astrology courses? Are you going to be expanding your mind in some way, Gemini? This is a big deal because this is where Saturn and where you also have your Jupiter energy. And just so you know, Jupiter rules this placement. It rules the ninth house. So this is quite a huge deal for Gemini, ascendant Gemini rising. Having Jupiter in the ninth house, Jupiter will expand, will bring information to you. Remember, the ninth house and Jupiter is also the law and the legal system. So if you're a Gemini ascendant, for any Geminis out there, if you've been having issues going on with the law and the legal system, it's a very good possibility you may see something beneficial coming your way. Again, these are general readings. I would have to look at your personal chart to know anything further on that route. Now, when we go to your fifth house, because that's where the next ease is coming, that's children, fun, joy, creativity. That is your fifth house energy, Gemini. Your creations, your fun, your laughter, and your romancing, your dating, your mating, your relating, and some ease coming by way of that. And your first house, which is you. So me, house number 1, you, this is all about ease coming with myself, with my physical body, thoughts about myself, the way I appear. You are going to appear differently to people. Okay, there's going to be an ease coming. There's going to be some beautiful help from Jupiter coming through, some beautiful establishing some structure. Saturn brings structure. And that structure that Saturn brings in your ninth house of belief will help you, will help your first house, will help your body, will help your fifth house, will help with structure with children. It will help establish order, with your creations, right? That's your fifth house. So I love this for Gemini, Ascendant, Gemini risings. I know there's been a couple of you out there who have inquired in the past, who've had questions and who certain things in your life seemed chaotic and crazy. 2021 promises a little bit more structure, promises a little bit more order and relief. Now for Taurus, Ascendant, Taurus rising, my ears are perked up big on this one. This is house number 10, house number 6, and house number 2. Yes, these are the money houses, Taurus. This is what you have been working for years for. I know Tauruses who have been working so hard, and I am rejoicing in this with you, Taurus, Ascendant, Taurus rising. This is house number 10, and I have house number 10 circled. This is the year, Taurus. This is the year. You have Saturn and Jupiter at your midheaven. This is like, whoa, this is phenomenal. This is the time when you are finally recognized. You will finally get recognition. You have Saturn in your 10th house. Saturn establishes order. Saturn is the authority figure. You will somehow appear to be the authority in whatever it is in your career. People will somehow recognize you and be like, wow, suddenly that person seems to know a whole heck of a lot. They seem to know what they're talking about. And having Jupiter there means there will be something that occurs within your ambitions and your goals. There might have been something that comes through, some information that will help you to pinpoint something that takes you to that next level. And when Jupiter pulls away from Saturn for you, this should help because it's sending trines to your 6th house of work routines. It's also sending the trine to the 6th house, which is animals and pets. This is Libran energy. So this is also the law. This is also the legal system, things being fair and balanced. This is a big deal for me in my life. Job routines, projects, health routines, health projects. And it's also sending a trine to your second house, your income, your money, your moolah, your tangible assets, how you receive. This is a big deal for Taurus Ascendant, Taurus Rising. This is the year for your ambitions and your goals. This is the year of your responsibilities and ease coming, Taurus Ascendant, Taurus Rising. So I love this for you. If you want me to take a deeper dive, comment below and I can do that for you. But yes, you've got Jupiter and Saturn in your 10th house. Congratulations. This means you have arrived. Aries Ascendant, Aries Rising. We have order and structure being established and bringing this order and structure, bringing peace to your life, communications opening up, ease of thinking. This is your 11th house, your 7th house, and your 3rd house for Aries Ascendant, Aries Rising. This adds an ease to the way that you think, the way that you communicate. So this should bring some peace in that for you. This will bring ease in your significant one-on-one relationships. Do you do counseling? Are you married? Do you, in any of your relatings and matings and communications, this will bring ease. This is also in your 11th house of group energy. If you are someone who does life coaching, counseling, this is a big deal. Your 11th house is the internet. It is social media. It is astrology. I don't mind singing that in there. It's also science. The 11th house is also the angelic realm. I'm mentioning this because this is just what's coming in for Aries Ascendant. The 11th house is the angelic realm, and yes, it is the angelic realm, but it didn't come up for the other rising signs. Your 11th house is circled, and that's, okay, now I get it. The 11th house, this is where Saturn and Jupiter are. You've got Jupiter in the placement of angels. So you may have angelic assistance that comes in. All of a sudden, the no turns into a yes. All of a sudden, the left turns into, I won't go there. Down turns into an up. All of a sudden, the thumbs down is a thumbs up. All of a sudden, that red light turns into a green light. All of a sudden, the sour becomes sweet. All of a sudden, the salty becomes savory. All of a sudden, there's balance. All of a sudden, there's fairness. All of a sudden, there's relating and communicating. All of a sudden, things are clicking into place for you. Again, this is a general reading, but your 11th house is highlighted because you have Saturn and Jupiter there, which means there's going to be an organization factor of responsibilities and a structure that sets in with group energy. And this will be beneficial because if you are somebody who has been working on counseling people, if you're somebody who's been working on trying to make the internet happen for you, right? That 3rd house, that Gemini energy, that is it. That and the 11th house, they trine each other. So the 11th house is friends. You're going to get benefits from friends. This is your 11th house. Let your friends come through and bring beauty to your life. And that, folks, wraps it up. If you got any questions or comments, I got to go. I got to run. The lights are getting low. The fireplace is out. I got to run over to the thing. But take care. And remember, you want to reach out to me, comment below. Happy 2021, everybody. Happy New Year from G and the cats of the All Astrology family. Love you.